for any other reason other than to be helpful. I am an attorney. I've been a Colorado attorney for 33 years. Okay, that's one issue. Thank you very much. The second issue has to do with particular bent grass. And it's not my issue, but I think it may be an important one. And that is that bent grass is charged a water resource fee of $35.69 every month. And my understanding is that we were all charged tap fees as a water resource fee. We bought the homes, not that Challenger imposed that, but this board imposed it, the board of this district imposed it on those homeowners. And that the water resource fee, my understanding, is a duplicative fee and is not fair or not authorized or not lawfully imposed at this time. And I don't know whether that's true or not, but I was asked to bring that to your attention. I will continue to follow up and get more information. That's all the information I have on that issue at this time.
Anybody speak to that?
Robert, you want to?
Yeah, they're two different things. Your tap fees came in at the very beginning of the development. That's to build infrastructure that comes in and tap into our system. The resource fee is something we all still pay. That's something for the resource. And I think, I'm not sure what they're using the definition of resource fee as, but I know we all pay it. So they are two distinctly different things.
Before you go, just so I can report back to my people, do you mind telling me who you are?
Robert, a lot.
Okay, and
I used to be a foreman on the boards, many boards.
okay, you were up to the foreman?
I used to be on this board.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
A long time ago. Used to sit here.
That's
In another building.
Okay, thank you very much.
And the reason I had pointed to Robert, because I think he was here during the time of the big graph.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be beneficial.
Thank you.
And you're no different from any other of these surrounding areas that get water from us. They all pay that tap fee.
Thank you.
And then they come back and get resources.
Something to add?
I would just recommend that this board sit down and read the 2015 water and wastewater report. In that report, there was a number, $16.41, repeatedly in that document. The engineers specifically state in that document they don't know where that number came from, that it was recommended to them by the district. I submitted a request, a core request, asking on more than one occasion, what does that 1641, which is now 1713, represent? If you take the total number of houses and divide it by the water rate, it equals about 5,000 gallons. So I've not gotten an interpretation of where the math is as to what that number represents. But the response I received back from the district was it was recommended to them by Wildan in the water report. It was not recommended by the engineers. They don't know where that number came from. And the math doesn't appear in that Wildan study. So I'd recommend that board members sit down and read the Wildan water and wastewater study.
Good, thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Troy, can I ask a question on this first deal?
Which one,
The charging fines for people watering at the wrong times? Who enforces that to begin with? Who's driving around looking to see if somebody's watering their yard? Do we have somebody that does that? We don't have an HOA.
We don't,
They were so upset about it.
That's usually how we get informed. We have residents that like to water.
I don't know that story.
Every year.
When
And
they thought we had
so far, all I know is it's been warnings. Nothing enforced. It's just a warning, hey, you need to be
Mr.
alert
Green
for
set it
watering
up
for
wrong.
like an hour or midday.
We
And that's
didn't.
usually neighbors.
They had people coming in, so they were called the Casella.
See if it's running down the street.
So to your
So that's
knowledge,
what
we
you're gonna
haven't
have
fined
to do.
anybody.
No, it's just a warning. I think the fines are, actually what I was told, I think probably know that the state of Colorado wants every water district to have a water conservation schedule, just to be good stewards, like I say. But as far as I know, in the last 5, 6 years, we've never fined anyone that's been warning, hey, who might need to check their sprinkler or please put water in for an hour, so well doesn't hold it anyway, so an hour is way excessive. It's running down the street, but it's always the neighbors calling to complain.
It does, sorry, inform the board members.
There's scribbles on here. Robert, at the bottom. Did you do that, Errol, or did
No, Mr. Bates did, he said.
you want to go before or after?
I don't really care. But that's okay. My name's Robert Lovato, 8040 Bushburn Road. Congratulations. It's good to see a new board. It's sad that our guy didn't show up. It's all right. You guys have big shoes to fill there with, that position, not the individual, but the person. First and foremost, though, one of the couple things I learned as a board member is the SDA puts on some great stuff. You guys have a conference coming up. And they also put on new board member classes. It's Title 30, Title 32 is tough. And you got to combine that with the block ship. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, take for its word, is executive session. When we get voted on as a board member, it's important you take that executive session very to heart.
Could you please speak up? So,
It's important to take it to heart. You're sworn in. And if you haven't figured it out yet, the most precious thing we have next to our families and our kids, it's the water. So the minute you start going to negotiations, and you let it out, every single board in metropolitan district will be going after that same water source. If the water right comes up and you're trying to get it, keep to your chest, let your legal counsel work that deal as fast as they can, as diligently as they can, behind the scenes as much until it's finally ready to go public. But I tell you right now, that's crucial. Any past, you guys can get briefed on past executive sessions. One of the things that bothered me during the election is I keep on hearing that executive session information got leaked. I find that very concerning as a citizen because those people represent this district to make the best sound decision for this district. So just take it for its worth, you gotta keep it to your chest. I mean, if people are gonna sit here, and I heard it today, they're gonna see meetings. No, you're in executive session meetings to talk about specific things. And your agenda should call that out. When you make a motion to go into an executive session, you should be saying it's for negotiations, personnel issues. I used to have my legal counsel actually tell me what we're going in. So this community knows why you're going into that executive session. That's important. I think that's what people get crossed up when they go in secret meetings. The other thing is, you're gonna be asked, and people are gonna think going into secret meetings, you're gonna have a short window of time to act on something. You're gonna get a proposal thrown on your desk, and you have a very short window of time. You do have the opportunity to go to executive session. You have to post it. You have to do certain things, but you'll learn that in the SDA. You'll learn that studying Title 32. It's important. Because you guys, the number one thing you have is to protect this district. Make those decisions to protect this district, to keep our water. You know, people are saying, how do we get more people here? As long as you're not upping the rates, as long as you're not turning off water, these people don't care to come here. That's not an issue. They're getting their water. We can fight all we want to get them here. They're not gonna come. They're not. So let's not fight that battle. That's not a battle we need to fight. What we need to do is bring our debt down. Odds are we're not gonna be able to get our rates down much more because you gotta remember, you're seeing good things right now. God, when the economy's booming, tap fees are being paid. But remember, it's very cyclical. Okay, 2008 came around, holy crap. We thought we were gonna sell 10 taps. We probably went negative. People might have taken their damn taps out. That's not good. It will happen. So I encourage you guys to look forward. Yes, grab it while you can, but anticipate in the next 4 years, it's gonna go like this. It's a roller coaster. It will go like that. So the best way to do it is to look at our financials like you're doing and consider this. And I bring this up every time I'm on the board, especially for Woodland Hills. This developer on purpose did not put a mill in. They
They did that on purpose, and that was to market against Meridian Ranch and some of these others. Okay, so when they go and put that paperwork out there and they say, hey, come move into Meridian Ranch, look at our fee for our water, they forget to tell you the mill levy that they're all paying. Okay, so consider this. We hear this all the time. I want to opt out of department rent. That's not the answer. That's one of the things we need here. Number one, fiduciary responsibility is water, right, and wastewater. But you can easily, and this is the time to do it, when the economy's going like this, and people are making money, it's time to probably think about it, study it, hire the right people to do a study for you, to maybe do a mill levy increase for park and rec portion. Pull that out of the bill. Have that, pay that debt off. That's one of the things we talked about. Al Krebs and I, we battled this a lot together. We were trying to think, how do we, problem is, when we were on the board, the economy went like this. I don't think there was a single person who was able to pass a mill levy increase at that time. And on top of that, de-Bruce, I don't even know what the term's called anymore. De-Tabor?
It's still
De-Bruce yourself. I was actually on the committee. We de-Bruced ourselves at one of the districts I was in first. First and foremost, that was a fantastic thing to do. But you gotta be careful. But anyway, I would really look at that. I think the economy's right for that. I think it would help you in a big sense where you can maybe start showing a $99 bill versus $150. I don't know what your breakdown is. I'm just assuming somewhere it might be about $120, or $99 versus $150. If you can take part of that park and rec and throw it into, and guess what that is? Tax write-off. It's not a huge one, but it is. You get part of that back. Nice. So, you know, I just want to say thank you, congratulations. You probably won't see me here much because, like those, my water's going on, I'm fine. I've been in this house for 20 years. I think my bill's gone up. I think my bill's $7. The last thing I'll leave you with, you have a group out there, you need to understand what they're doing. It's the Black Squirrel. They're a conservation district. They have a very distinct charter. You need to understand what that charter is, because you have a lot of, I think, I'm not sure, but if I know the president, it might be Dave Dorn. You have a lot of people like, you got a lot of sod farmers out there that get on that board, and they have no love for us. So just get to know them. You don't have to be their friend, but get to know them and get to understand what they're about. Because they do have a good need for, I mean, we need them to conserve this water. This Black Squirrel is very precious. Verify and trust what they say. You can trust them, but verify. That's all I ask you, verify. The other one, you have surrounding districts. You have Cherokee, you have Metro, you have Meridian, you have pipelines going right over here. Understand who's the players on those boards. Get to know them. You'll see them at the SDA meetings. These interconnects are very important. You know, we tabled an interconnect today. Remember, we need interconnects too. What happens when we get in trouble? The last thing this district wants to do, and Cimarron Hills did this, or Cherokee did this, and they bit them in the butt, bigger than big. They signed a huge interconnect agreement with the city. They paid ungodly dollars for their gallons when they had to use it, and they used it for many years until they could try to fill their water needs. But you just, you know, look at them. The other thing I look at very strongly, and the Black Squirrel's gonna look at it very close, is your return flows. Always ask your lawyer, where are return flows in this? If they turn that interconnect on and we send 2,000 gallons, do we get credit for those return flows? Where's that water gonna go? It's important. You always have to know where that water's gonna end up. Other than that, reach out. One of the best board members in the world to talk to, Al Krebs. I've learned so much from him. I can't tell you enough. He's a wealth of information. So, God bless. Good luck. I'm glad I'm not in your shoes. You're welcome. Oh, one last thing. Your staff you have, these three, there's a reason we don't have a general manager. Because he was very expensive. I'm going to leave it at that. He was very expensive, okay? We did eliminate that position. I was on the board. There's a reason for it. If you want to talk about it someday, give me a call. We decided to go with 3 distinct directors, which I'm surprised you guys aren't directors. And the reason for that is you save a lot of money. These guys are doing the job anyway. Why do we really need that other layer? We really didn't. But Lisa, I can trust. I mean, she gave me every single number I need. She's gonna be your right-hand person, the treasurer. And she knows where every single dollar is spent. I know that for a fact. Jerry, I mean, Jay wasn't here, I'd ask him right away, what's going on? Our new lady, I don't know well, so I can't speak to her.
Sorry.
But I know that's been a big challenge, and I echo the sentiments that the gentleman said earlier. If anybody's working for this district and doing negotiations and this board's not doing it, that's a problem. That should not be happening. So clean that up, okay? That's it. Thank you, guys. You guys do a hell of a job. Okay?
Robert?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Ron Bates.
Coming. That was on purpose. Good evening, everybody. Mr. Pace, 12058 Real Seeker Road, Peyton, Colorado, 80831. Title 32. Got a nice little book here that even shows what it is. I got one of those ones too. Got it free from the court when they threw it out. I got a 2014 edition. I like to read it. All right, so this evening, I'm supposed to have a little bit more than 3 minutes. I'm not going to try to take up too much of your time. Congratulations to each and every one of you, Mr. Lucas, especially you. I know I didn't bring your name up much, but you still won. That's good. And to the rest of you, I've emailed everybody. I've copied you on those emails because I think that's only fair that that be done the way it should have been done. I did not copy Mr. Killett as I thought he wasn't going to be here, and well, my hunch was right. So that was good. I didn't have to waste that electronic hit button. So, the reason why we're all here tonight, so we can see a new board, meet and greet everybody, and kind of move on. And in that spirit, I'm going to do that. People have been on my blog. I don't know how many of you haven't been on my blog, but you know where I stand on pretty much everything here. So, things I want to bring up, comments about people, things that were made. I've had discussions with Mr. Stinson. Congratulations on becoming president. I did pick the two ladies only because, well, it was a safe thing to do, and well, that's where I stood on it. So, a lot of things that people are reading about and talking about are negativities, and negativities that have been going on for 10 to 12 years. Okay, and anybody who's been on my site knows that. There's no bone about it. There is no way to get around it. I've been the public punching bag in this place for pretty much most of them. And sometimes I've deserved it, and sometimes, well, for the most part, I haven't. So we're not going to get into that because this is today and that was yesterday. They have a lot of responsibility to clean up a mess. I put that word on my website for a reason. It's a mess. And when you think, well, maybe it's not, well, it is, okay? The issue over executive session, Mr. Lovato evaded to it. You're absolutely right, but I gotta tell you, if it wasn't for some of the leaks that we had coming out prior to this meeting, how many people would have actually gotten involved? How many of you would have ran for the board? How many of you would have even known we had these problems? None of us. So, you know, I'm kind of glad those things did happen. I don't like that they did, but I'm glad that they did. Because for me, I was able to put that information out there. I know that maybe you want to admonish those people for doing it. No, you don't. You gotta tell you, because we're all in the same community. We're all in the same boat. We're all doing the same thing. And I've made some pretty direct comments to people, appropriate, inappropriate, just pick one. Okay, I got no ill will towards the Blisses and the Gonzaleses. I'm glad they're here tonight. I'm actually really ecstatic they are. And so, with that being said, I am a big believer in the management structure of other districts right now, where they have a single manager and supervisors. I've made that clear on my website, okay? Why they changed it, it doesn't matter, okay? They just did, all right? And I've looked at their models, I've seen what they've done, they've operated fairly well, and I'm a person that believes in that. It also cut down on operating costs. Did we overpay the last manager? Who was the first one that raised his hand screaming up and down? We paid him how much? How many houses did we buy the guy? Not sure, it doesn't matter. I was on my website. Anybody that's been to my website knows that. I was ostracized for saying, maybe we should do this. I was the one that jumped up and down about salaries. I'm still jumping up and down about salaries. I think our salaries should be commensurate with the cities and the county, and I've had these discussions with these people. It's my opinion that if we have someone that's filling a position that may be qualified to do the position but doesn't have the accolades to go with it, guess where your salary should go? Right down to where it should be. Experience notwithstanding, okay? Starting nurses make a certain amount of money, starting police officers make a certain amount of money. starting people at work where you work.